One News Midday, what we're learning about a woman hit and killed by a car this morning. Plus, the latest on a child shot in Huntsville. And Amber's here with your Thursday looking ahead to the weekend forecast. Join us at 11 from
This is WAAY 31 News, midday.
Temperatures heating up as we head through the rest of the week into the weekend. I'll have the details coming up.
And straight ahead, the very latest on a pedestrian hit and killed in Madison County.
Plus, a look inside Huntsville Space Command headquarters. But breaking now at midday, a woman says she is guilty of driving impaired and striking an 11-year-old teen in Huntsville. A judge accepted Sarah Olton's guilty plea for reckless murder this morning. She will learn her punishment for that crime October 18th. The prosecutor says she killed Cal Fox 1 year ago as he rode his bicycle after school at the intersection of Bailey Cove and Mountain Gap Roads, correcting something I just said. He was 13 years old, not 11, but she has pled guilty. The judge has accepted that guilty plea, and she will learn her punishment in October. We thank you so much for joining us for WAAY 31 News midday on this Thursday. I'm Chris Tatum. We have a lot to get to here shortly. Let's check that forecast first of all, though, and find out just how hot it's going to be. And it is a scorcher out there already.
It is, yeah, and it's only going to get hotter from here as we head through the weekend. We have this heat advisory in effect until 7 p.m. on Sunday, but I would not be surprised if the National Weather Service does extend this through Monday, because that's just how hot we're going to be over the next couple of days. Heat indices between 105 and 109. Here's a look at Huntsville right now from our Thompson Roofing and Construction Skycam network. This is on top of the Saturn V rocket. That sun is shining and it is warming temperatures up. It's 89 right now in Huntsville, but it feels like 102 already. 89 in Athens, feeling like 104. 90 in Muscle Shoals, feeling like 101. And we're only at 11 o'clock. Here's a look at 31 triple Doppler. We're quiet and dry right now in quiet conditions across the southeast. For us, the cloud cover we saw this morning has begun to move out. We're starting to see that sunshine once again. Taking that dog for a walk over the next couple of hours here. Temperatures continuing to warm through those 90s with just a low-end chance of a shower or two in the forecast. I'm tracking even warmer temperatures as we head towards the weekend and into the start of next week. I'll have a look at that for you coming up.
All right, Amber, thank you. A woman is dead. Actually, we are learning it is actually a man. A man is dead after getting hit by a car in Madison this morning. Right now, this is a very fluid story. We are learning new information by the minute, but we want to get right out to WAAY 31's Philip Green, who has been following this story for us all morning live there at the scene on Capshaw Road. Philip, what are you learning at midday?
Well, Chris, as you can see behind me now and here, traffic is moving smoothly once again. Capshaw Road was reopened this morning just before 8 a.m. Now, if you take a look at your screen, this is a look at what most drivers were seeing this morning. And we're told that this incident happened just after 4 o'clock this morning. The Madison County Coroner's Office confirming the person that was hit did die at the scene. And as you can imagine, the neighbors that I spoke with in the area earlier this morning tell me they were pretty shaken up to wake up to this scene that was happening out here. And now the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency is leading this investigation. And at this time, it's unclear if the person driving the vehicle remained on scene or if anyone else was injured. Now, of course, we will continue to follow this and bring you the very latest updates as we get them. But for now, reporting live in Madison County, Philip Green, WAAY 31 News.
All right, thank you, Philip. New at midday, a child is recovering from a gunshot wound after Huntsville police say they found a gun inside their home and shot themselves. Police are right now calling this an accidental shooting. It happened last night on Benford Drive. They say that bullet struck the child in the leg and that their injury is not life-threatening. Hartsville police right now could sure use your help to catch the man you see there on your screen. This is Preston Crutcher, and they say he was involved in some kind of a kidnapping incident. Now, the people involved in that kidnapping, the victims are actually, police say, safe, but they do say if you happen to be out and about and recognize Crutcher, don't approach him. They say call 911. Two men are in the Madison County Jail at midday after Huntsville police say they killed another man at a popular weekend hangout spot. Angelina Fantaroni right now has more about that crime, these arrests, and the high hopes that victim's family held for him.
To the kids who knew him, Talijah was Coach T. To his sisters, he was their big brother who made them laugh. And to his mom, he was her first child.
He always come home and hug me and say, "Bubba, don't be worrying about me. I'm doing good. I'm okay." And just, he just called me every day.
Talijah Moore was studying computer science at Alabama A&M University. He was ready to finish out his senior year and then move to Texas to pursue his career. His sister Micaiah says he was determined to make something of himself.
He was very ambitious, very goal-driven, very smart, very intelligent. He really beat the odds when he left from our hometown, because most people are not known for that. They don't go off and go to college and try to be something better than what we have here. So that's what made him different.
He also poured his energy into coaching kids at the Boys and Girls Club.
He loved his kids. They would call him Coach T, and he loved children. He loved, helping them, inspiring them. He's always been a leader.
Two men, Terrion Gatewood and DeQuavion Malone, are now charged with the reckless murder in his death. Police say Moore was not the intended target.
And I hugged him for the last time. It was about 3 weeks ago. So I'm always miss his hugs. He always loved his mama.
His youngest sister, Ramaya, says if she could tell him one last thing, it would be that she loves him.
And I told him I love him before we got off the phone, but I know he loved me back though.
A son, a brother, a student, a mentor, a coach. His family says that's how they want Talijah to be remembered.
And again, that was Angelina Fantaroni reporting for us on this Thursday. Police say they may arrest more people. They do ask anybody with information about these shootings to give them a call. The former Decatur police officer charged with killing Steve Perkins is once again asking a judge to delay his murder trial. Mac Bailey Marquette's lawyers filed that motion yesterday, asking for that postponement until the Alabama Supreme Court rules on whether to grant immunity for Perkins' death. His trial, Marquette's, is scheduled to start September 21st right now. We are getting a look this morning at the efforts to relocate, U.S. Space Command headquarters from Colorado to Huntsville. Space Command leaders say more than 100 workers are already in Huntsville working in temporary spaces. That's what you're looking at right now. But Space Command leaders also said they will be taking bids from contractors soon to build that new permanent facility on the Redstone Arsenal post.
That is allowing us to build this facility in a different way than the Department of Defense has done in the past. Much more a way that looks like how commercial industry would build a building. And that should allow us to get into that building faster and hopefully maybe even cheaper.
Well, the Trump administration is pushing to have Space Command headquarters fully relocated to Huntsville by 2032. The plan to build a new Madison County courthouse is moving ahead quickly. The county commission voted last night to demolish the current courthouse, but they have not yet said when they'll tear it down to make room for the new one. They say right now they're trying to figure out how to minimize inconvenience that demolition and construction may cause to downtown Huntsville businesses. They hope to move into that new courthouse, though, by 2030. When we come back, the concerns surrounding the USS Lincoln and the mental health of service members on board. Plus, the major personnel change at the White House.
Temperatures get quite toasty as we head towards the end of the week and into the weekend. I'll have a look at it for you coming up.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching WAAY 31 News, midday.
Welcome back, everybody. 12 minutes after 11 right now. As the war with Iraq now lingers into its 6th month, there is growing concern about the mental health of some U.S. service members who have been at sea for quite a long time. ABC's Karen WAAY is in Washington to explain.
This morning, a cry for help from the USS Abraham Lincoln. There are 5,000 service members on board the warship, which was supposed to come home in May. But now they're 9 months into a deployment supporting the war with Iran. They've spent a record 250 straight days at sea. Multiple sailors have tried to jump overboard, according to the Navy Times and Stars and Stripes. One wife says her husband reached a breaking point after his deployment kept getting extended. At town halls last week with Navy leaders, families described moldy showers, broken toilets, food shortages, and no soap or toothpaste. In response, the Navy told ABC News it has not identified an increase in reported suicidal ideation or suicide attempts, adding counselors and chaplains are on board. The Navy admits the war has disrupted supply lines, but says the ship now has clean water and healthy meals. Talking to reporters 2 days ago, President Trump commented on how much longer the war will wage on.
We totally control the Strait of Hormuz. We have control over it. Nobody else, only us. Our Navy is unbelievable, and things are going great for our country.
However, Iran contested Trump's claims, writing on social media, quote, "The Strait of Hormuz remains blocked and will not be reopened until Iran's conditions are accepted." So while the war continues, Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego demands the Navy allow a bipartisan congressional delegation to visit the USS Lincoln to conduct an oversight investigation into this horrible situation. Navy leaders have told families another carrier, the USS Theodore Roosevelt, could be sent to relieve the Lincoln, but it's unclear when that might be. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump is now in search of a new White House press secretary. He announced yesterday current press secretary Caroline Leavitt is stepping down at the end of the month to spend more time with her children. The president says she will still serve as a close outside advisor to him. Leavitt was the youngest person ever to serve as White House press secretary. When we come back, protecting those who protect us all, the security measures helping Huntsville Hospital keep its workers safe. Welcome back, everybody. 17 minutes after 11 right now. Workplace violence is a growing concern in healthcare, but Huntsville Hospital says it's actually seeing a drop in incidents. Corinna Shadowan shows us what's behind that drop.
At Huntsville Hospital, security officers respond to everything from heated arguments to physical violence.
Staff, visitors, physicians, everyone that walks in the facility should not have to worry about their safety while they're on campus.
Violence against healthcare workers reached record levels across the country during the pandemic. 43% of healthcare workers in the U.S. reported some kind of threat at work in 2022, according to the NIH.
So in healthcare across the nation, it's approximately 90% of all workplace violence is patient on staff.
Over the past 3 years, Huntsville Hospital has seen the number of reported threats drop significantly, down 28% overall, and nearly cut in half in the emergency room. Brett Bramlett, Huntsville Hospital's director of security, says one of the biggest factors is training.
It's de-escalation training, and so we've trained 11,000 employees in recognizing when people are escalating with their emotions.
Staff have also been equipped with wearable alarms, and security canines are now on site.
And when you see an officer with a K9, it just de-escalates, and it also puts staff mind at ease.
And that work is now getting national attention. Huntsville Hospital security team is one of just 8 finalists nationwide for the 2026 Outstanding Security Performance Awards. Reporting in Huntsville, I'm Corinna Shadowan.
Alabama health leaders say right now more than 100 people are sick across Alabama with cyclosporiasis. That, of course, that intestinal parasite that is now linked to lettuce. They say 67 of those cases are here in North Alabama and say most of them are actually connected to a Mexican restaurant chain. They didn't say which one, but health leaders have traced the entire outbreak back to a company called Taylor Farms that grew that lettuce. Search and rescue crews are right now racing against the clock, trying to find survivors beneath the rubble after that powerful earthquake earlier this week in Colombia. They're using heavy machinery, search dogs, and their bare hands to move pieces of rubble, just hoping to find people alive they can rescue. Colombia's president says more than 250 people now are confirmed dead. Thousands, he says, are still missing.
Now, WAAY 31 storm tracker meteorologist Amber Kulik with 31 triple Doppler.
That is heartbreaking to watch.
is.
Digging through there with their bare hands, just trying to find people, and thousands missing. That's just very frightening.
It really is.
Makes this little heat we're dealing with seem kind of inconsequential.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to see the warmest temperatures we've seen so far this year, but that is nothing compared to what our friends down there are dealing with. Here's your weather headlines. Very dangerous heat as we head into the next week. And it's not just the heat, it's the humidity. Our feels like temperatures, they're going to be in the triple digits as we head into the next week here, and very little rain chances to help us with the heat over the next week. Here's what we have going on across the United States on your surface analysis. Now that big blue H you see down in the Gulf, that is that ridge of high pressure that is beginning to build across the southeast, and that is going to bring us the heat as we head into the next week. Your temperature trend only hotter each and every day. 94 degrees for your high today, but by the end of it here, the start of next week, we're looking at 100 degrees for your afternoon high on Monday. We'll get pretty close to that on Sunday. And for good reason, the National Weather Service has a heat advisory out for all of us until 7 p.m. Sunday. I do think, though, they'll probably end up extending this into Monday, just seeing how hot it is going to be to begin next week. Heat indices of 105, between that and 109 over the next few days, but some of us may feel even hotter than that. Here's your heat index trend as we head into the next 5 days, and just like your temperatures, each day a little hotter than the last, and by Monday feeling like 109 to 110 degrees across the area. So it is going to be nice and toasty to start off next week. So what does that mean for you if you're going to be spending time outside? That means just after 15 minutes, your body is going to begin to experience extreme stress from this heat. So you need to take it as easy as possible. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water and taking those breaks outside when you can. As far as the heat, it's not going anywhere for a while. Here's your temperature outlook August 19th through August 23rd. Still painting that bullseye here across the southeast for those very above average temperatures. So the 90s, they're going to stick around. A look at 31 triple Doppler right now. Things are quiet for us, so no rain to cool us off this afternoon. We'll get lucky to see a shower or thunderstorm as we head through the later afternoon hours today. Heading into the overnight hours, we're quiet to start you off Friday morning. Friday afternoon, same story. We'll be lucky to get a downpour or two. Most of us will just continue to be hot, and that is the same story into your weekend. If you do have plans to head out and about over the next few hours, those temperatures continuing to climb through the 90s with just a small chance of a shower or two. 94 for your high today in Huntsville, 93 in Athens, 92 in Scottsboro, 93 in Gunnersville. Your 10-day forecast looks like this. And again, there's that 100 degrees on Monday for your afternoon high. We stay in the 90s with very little rain chances as we head into next week as well. So this heat wave will continue. Make sure you stay with us. We'll be right back.
Member of the Huntsville Police Force. Let's go ahead and look at him. He is a black Labrador retriever named Goose, and well, he has a very important title. He is the new electronic storage detector. So Goose can sniff out hidden technology, things like hard drives or flash drives that might hold evidence, especially in child pornography cases. And even more importantly, he'll help comfort those children who are victims in those cases.
It's always a good feeling when you can protect a child, or when you can get a child out of an environment that they really don't have a choice to be in. But then to have him on top of that, one, to find the evidence that we're looking for to prosecute and put a bad guy in jail.
Well, Goose will also help the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency and the FBI find critical evidence hidden on storage devices. Up next, a look inside Huntsville Space Command headquarters.
31 News, midday.
Here's at midday. A woman says she is guilty of driving impaired and striking, killing a 13-year-old Huntsville teen. A judge accepted Sarah Olson's guilty plea for reckless murder this morning. She will learn her punishment for that crime October 18th. Now, prosecutors say she killed Cal Fox a year ago as he rode his bicycle after school at the intersection of Bailey Cove and Green Mountain Roads. Well, thank you so much for joining us for WAAY 31 News Midday on this Thursday. I'm Chris Tatum. We've got a lot to get to this half hour. Let's go over to our weather center, though, and check in with Storm Tracker meteorologist Amber Kulik right now. Talk about that forecast, because that orange behind you just seems to sum up what I feel every time I step outside.
It does. Yeah. It's already toasty outside at this hour, and it's only going to get warmer from here as we head through the rest of the day. Here is your heat advisory. Runs until 7 p.m. Sunday. For now, I do expect that the National Weather Service will probably extend this through Monday with just how warm these temperatures are going to get over the next couple of days here. Here's a look outside right now at Decatur from our Thompson Roofing and Construction Skycam network. That sun shining over the River City. It's 89 degrees already with a west wind at 7 miles per hour. Your dew point is in the middle to upper 70, so it feels nice and icky outside. There you go. It's 89 in Decatur, but it feels like 100 already. It's 89 in Gunnersville, feeling like 108 at this hour. 89 as well in Huntsville, feeling like 102. So make sure, if you're spending time outdoors, that you are taking care of yourself and your pets if they're outside as well. 31 triple Dopplers, quiet and dry and quiet conditions pretty much for the entire state of Alabama. We are starting to see a couple of showers here popping up in central Alabama. If you're headed out to lunch, small chance you'll catch one of those showers with temperatures in the 90s. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. We'll talk more about just how hot it'll be over the weekend.
Thank you, Amber. We're getting our first real look this morning at the efforts happening right now to relocate U.S. Space Command headquarters from Colorado to Huntsville. Spacecom leaders say more than 100 people are already in Huntsville working in temporary spaces. That's what you're looking at right here. And they say they will be taking bids soon from contractors to build that new permanent facility on the Redstone Arsenal post.
That is allowing us to build this facility in a different way than the Department of Defense has done in the past. Much more a way that looks like how commercial industry would build a building. And that should allow us to get into that building faster and hopefully maybe even cheaper.
The Trump administration is pushing to have Space Command headquarters fully relocated to Huntsville by 2032. The plan to build a new Madison County courthouse is moving ahead quickly. At midday, the county commission voted last night to demolish the current courthouse, but they have not yet said, the commission hasn't, when it plans to tear down this current one to make room for that new one. They say right now they're working to figure out how to minimize inconvenience that demolition and construction might cause downtown Huntsville businesses. They hope to move into a new courthouse by 2030. Calhoun Community College is about to launch 2 new degree programs it hopes will attract new talent to North Alabama's workforce. Those programs focus on film and multimedia production and video game production. Well, students will learn to use popular industry software programs. Classes for these programs, by the way, start next Wednesday. Auburn University is about to open a brand new research lab in Huntsville. That 50,000 square foot facility will sit in Cummins Research Park. It'll be the first university-led space electronics testing facility. It is set to open later this month. One person is dead after investigators say a car hit them. Now, this happened around 4 o'clock this morning on Capshaw Road. Right now, we are working to learn if that driver who struck this person actually stopped and waited for them. It did force investigators to close Capshaw Road for several hours. We are working also to learn the name of that person killed. New at midday, a child is recovering from a gunshot wound after Huntsville police say they found a gun inside their home and shot themselves. Police right now calling this an accidental shooting. It happened last night on Benford Drive. Police say the bullet struck that child in the leg and say their injuries are not life-threatening. 2 men are in the Madison County Jail at midday after Huntsville police say they killed another man at a popular Huntsville hangout spot. And right now, Angelina Fantaroni tells us more about the crime, these arrests, and the high hopes the victim's family held for him.
To the kids who knew him, Talijah was Coach T. To his sisters, he was their big brother who made them laugh. And to his mom, he was her first child.
He always come home and hug me and say, "Baba, don't be worrying about me. I'm doing good. I'm okay." And just, he just called me every day.
Talijah Moore was studying computer science at Alabama A&M University. He was ready to finish out his senior year and then move to Texas to pursue his career. His sister Micaiah says he was determined to make something of himself.
He was very ambitious, very goal-driven, very smart, very intelligent. He really beat the odds when he left from our hometown, because most people are not known for that. They don't go off and go to college and try to be something better than what we have here. So that's what made him different.
He also poured his energy into coaching kids at the Boys and Girls Club.
He loved his kids. They would call him Coach T. Coach T, and he loved children. He loved, helping them, inspiring them. He's always been a leader.
Two men, Terrion Gatewood and DeQuavion Malone, are now charged with the reckless murder in his death. Police say Moore was not the intended target.
And I hugged him for the last time. It was about 3 weeks ago. So I'm always miss his hugs. He always loved his mama.
His youngest sister, Ramaya, says if she could tell him one last thing, it would be that she loves him.
And I told him I love him before we got off the phone, but I know he loved me back, though.
A son, a brother, a student, a mentor, a coach. His family says that's how they want Talijah to be remembered.
And police say they may arrest more people related to those shootings. If you know anything about them, do call Huntsville Police. When we come back, where a lucky Powerball ticket was sold and just how much somebody woke up to the reality of being wealthy with.
Temperatures continue to warm as we head through the rest of the week into the weekend and next week. I'll have a look at it for you coming up. And
is waking up pretty wealthy today. That's because they won. They had the winning ticket for that $1 billion Powerball drawing last night. Now, lottery leaders say that ticket was sold in Illinois. ABC's Rena Roy shares why that winner is not the only one celebrating today.
The 8th largest jackpot in Powerball history has been won in Illinois. A single ticket sold at this Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh in the city of Quincy matched all 6 numbers drawn Wednesday night to win the $1 billion jackpot.
That is earth-changing. I'm happy to be a part of their lives and changing their lives.
Gas station manager John Marshall speaking with ABC News after the historic win.
Our Hy-Vee corporate motto is making lives easier, healthier, and happier. So, I mean, you can't get any better than that, making your lives easier, happier, and healthier, and winning $1 billion.
Marshall says even though he didn't win, he's just happy to play a part in it all.
I just feel like our gas station won the lottery because, yeah, we had a lot of media and a lot of customers coming in excited and wanting to know who it is.
Now, if the winner does not want to wait 30 years to collect all of the $1 billion in a recurring payment option, they can take the cash option of $450 million before taxes. They must claim the prize by October 11th if they take the lump sum.
Now, if you also bought a ticket, not all hope is lost. You should still check those numbers because officials say more than 3 million tickets won cash prizes in last night's drawing by matching one or more of the winning numbers. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Meteorologist Amber Kulik with 31 Triple Doppler.
Well, the heat is cranking as we head into the rest of the week, over the weekend, and into next week as well. We're talking very dangerous heat with this heat wave that will be pushing in. And with it, our feels-like temperatures are going to be in the triple digits for the next week. And the bad news is very little rain chances to help give us a little relief from the heat over the next week. So here's what we have going on across the United States on our surface analysis map here. You see that blue H down in the Gulf? that is that high pressure that is going to be responsible for all the heat that we are going to see over the coming days. Here's your temperature trend as we head towards the weekend. I know your eyes automatically go to that 100 on Monday. Yes, that is our forecast high on Monday is 100 degrees, but some of us will probably hit that on Sunday as well. So now is the time to prepare yourself for these hot temperatures. Now, the National Weather Service, they have this heat advisory out through 7 p.m. Sunday. I would not be surprised if they do extend it into Monday, with just how hot it is going to be over the next couple of days. Heat indices anywhere between 105 and 109. Some of us will probably feel even warmer than that as we head through Sunday and Monday. So here's your heat indice trend. And again, each day a little warmer than the last, kind of like your temperatures. And we'll be feeling like 109 degrees by Monday. But some of us will probably be feeling at least 110 on Monday. So what does that mean for you, especially if you're going to spend time outside? Well, that means it's not going to take long for your body to start to feel the stress of that heat. And we're talking extreme stress. Even after 15 minutes, you will notice it. So make sure you're taking care of yourself and your pets if they're going to be outside in this heat over the next few days here. So as far as your temperature outlook, heat's not going anywhere. It's going to stay around as we head into next week. This is your temperature outlook August 19th through August 23rd. Still quite hot here across the southeast. 31 triple Doppler right now, quiet and dry across the Tennessee Valley. No relief from the heat in the form of any rainfall. As we move into the next few hours, maybe a shower or two, but most of us staying completely dry. Overnight tonight, quiet as well. Quiet to start you off on your Friday. Friday afternoon, we may pick up a shower or two, but again, most of us will be dry and hot. And that will be the same story that we'll have through the weekend as well. If you are headed out over the next few hours, temperatures will continue to warm through those 90s with just a small chance of a shower or two. We're looking at 94 for your high in Huntsville, 93 in Gunnersville, 94 in Decatur, 94 in Moulton, 96 degrees in Muscle Shoals. Your 10-day forecast looks like this. There's that 100 on Monday. We're keeping the 90s around next week as well, and those low-end rain chances will stick around as well.
All right, Amber, thank you. Time right now, 11:48 on this Thursday. And let's talk about an unforgettable night of live music coming up. Got a special guest with us right now. This is Orion. He's a local musician here to tell us all about his upcoming show at Burritt on the Mountain. So first of all, Orion, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Got to ask, what are folks expecting to hear and see and do that night?
Yeah, so it's my second showcase from the first one I did back in November. So. Right. It's going to be live music, food, vendors, drinks, a good time. Hopefully we can have it outside with the view of the city in the background.
That's always nice.
It's been raining a lot, so I don't know what to expect, but hopefully it'll be outdoors. Bring your own lawn chair. We are doing a back to school drive as well. So we're asking people to bring any school supplies like pens, pencils, papers, book bags, things like that. Just to give back.
What does it mean to bring this event back? I mean, you did from the November show now to kind of bring something back.
Well, the original idea was to do it outside like we're doing it this year. The last show we had to do it inside because it was November and it was cold. And so, and then I did get a lot of feedback from the first show, like, you know, they love how intimate it was and
wonderful.
Just how different and unique the platform was. And so I decided, I was like, all right, well, we'll do it this time, give me more time to prepare, add some more artists to the ticket. I can make it more elevated and different than the last show. So I was like, let's do it. Let's do it for the second time.
Now you mentioned the back to school drive.
Yes.
What children will benefit from this, or how do people, even if they can't make it to the show, still contribute to this? And how can people who might need some of these supplies get them?
Like I said, we're going to be donating the items to local Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, wonderful.
And so we'll have bins there at the venue just for people to bring items if they can. Just wanted to give back to the less fortunate that don't have anything to contribute so far, because I know at the beginning of the school year can be a lot.
It can be a lot.
So,
poor parents at that time of year and the money they have to spend.
Yes.
One child is plenty. More than one child,
it's
that
a lot.
Can break you.
Yes, it can be stressful. Yeah.
So how do people get tickets to this show?
So yes, tickets they can go to my website. It'll be Orion Artist. orionartist.com/on-the-mountain, or just Orion Artist, and you can click on the tab for that. And then it's pretty much self-explanatory. You'll get the tickets there. If you want to sign up to be a sponsor or a vendor, we are still accepting that. So you can sign up there as well. So it'll be all listed on my website. And yeah, we'll be happy to have you guys come. It's gonna be a good time.
Wonderful. So the event is when again?
It's gonna be August 21st, so next Friday, around the corner. Doors open at 6:30. The show starts at 7:30. Mm-hmm. You know
Orion.
it. Yes, it's gonna be me and it's gonna be me and a couple and other local artists and surrounding other local artists and artists from out of town that's gonna be performing with me. And so yeah, just live entertainment.
We are so glad you stopped by to talk to us about it today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. And we'll be right back. Introduce you to the newest member of the Huntsville Police Force. Take a look. He's a gorgeous black Labrador retriever named Goose, and he's got a very important title, electronic storage detector. So Goose can sniff out hidden technology, things like hard drives and flash drives that might hold evidence in cases, especially child pornography cases. He also, and this is even more important, he helps comfort children who are victims in those cases.
It's always a good feeling when you can protect a child, or when you can get a child out of an environment that they really don't have a choice to be in. But then to have him on top of that, one, to find the evidence that we're looking for to prosecute and put a bad guy in jail.
Goose will also help with the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency and the FBI in finding critical evidence hidden on some of those storage devices. People who need help getting around outdoors now have a new resource at Lake Guntersville. Leaders just unveiled a new mobile terrain vehicle for the state park Tuesday. It will now allow visitors with mobility challenges to explore trails and experience the park's beauty and all its greater independence. Across the Tennessee Valley Authority provided funding for this vehicle. And Lawler's Barbecue and Kids to Love teaming up for Potatoes with Purpose this weekend. Runs from noon to 4 Sunday at the Orion Amphitheater. Organizers trying to set a world record for the most potatoes served in a single day. They'll be serving free stuffed potatoes topped with Lawler's signature pulled pork. That event, by the way, also benefits Kids to Love, which provides resources for children living in foster care across North Alabama. And one Florence church is hosting a food giveaway this weekend to make sure anybody who needs a little helping hand these days has it. That Cumberland Presbyterian Church handing out free food boxes Saturday morning starting at 8 o'clock. Now, the church does ask for your name and your phone number before they hand out that food. Let's talk about this weather. One last time. Hot.
Be hot.
And getting hotter.
And getting hotter. If you're headed out this afternoon, temperatures warming into the low to middle 90s. Small chance of a shower or two, and that's about it. Only hotter from here, though. Here's a look at your 10-day forecast. 100 degrees to start off next week on Monday. Talk about a scorcher. This is going to be the hottest temperatures that we've seen so far this summer.
Indeed. All right, Amber, thank you so much. And, of course, we hope you have a wonderful afternoon.